Welcome to Julie Whitney Scott Presents Let's Talk Theater, a Mind for God production sponsored event, heard only on WGRN LP 94.1, the Green Renaissance Station. Let's Talk Theater. Welcome to Let's Talk Theater. I'm your host, Julie Whitney Scott, and I'm so excited to bring to you today the almost unbearable glistening of the onion domes in the afternoon sun by Yulia Gray. This play is a magnificent play that's coming to the Abbey Theatre this April the 14th, 15th, and 16th. And I have with me some of the cast members from this play. First off, we have our playwright, Yulia Gray. Welcome to Let's Talk Theater.
Thank you. I'm so happy to be here.
I also have with me the cast members. So let's start off with our lady first, and then the rest of the team.
Hello, I'm Mackenzie Beamer. I play Monk Isidore and Mother Anna.
I'm Edwin Williams, and I play the Starosta. He manages the church.
Trismore Saunders, and I play Father Verkey in the parish.
So my name is Tyler Herman. I play Father Priest Monk Gabriel.
I'm Nikhil Makija, and I play Father Michael.
I'm Sivan Touch, and I'm playing the character Matushka Olga. And
I'm Emery Saunders. I've been acting in the local Columbus area for about 2 years, and been doing stuff with you, as well as with another production company called OG Productions with Mad Lab. And yeah, getting specifically into this character for this play, Yefim.
Let's start off with our playwright, telling us, why did you write this play? What was the inspiration that caused you to write this play?
My inspiration for writing this play comes from my from my attending my church, from the church that I that I love, and the faith that is part of my life. I wanted to kind of share that with the world, I guess, and also to address some of the these are obviously specific characters, specific places, but at the same time I wanted to address some hopefully themes that are common to all of us, something that everyone can relate to and appreciate, things like redemption, forgiveness, responsibility, choices. How do we make choices? How do we make a choice when the situation is very very sort of tense? How do we which way do we choose to go? Those are I think things that kind of affect all of us. Yeah.
Father Michael, tell us about your role and any challenges that you may have had.
So my character struggles with heart problems, and it gets even worse later on in the show. He struggles with dealing with a lot of anger, but also trying to find forgiveness. A lot of my challenges with this role was being sick, like finding those moments to lose my breath. Sometimes acting dizzy actually makes me dizzy.
Come to see this play.
I think people should come and see us play because it shows all the different it shows everyone's perspectives when there's a tragedy, including the person that made the accident. and it also deals with themes of redemption and forgiveness.
Eddie, you play the warden of the church. Tell us a little bit about you and your character.
In the play, I serve as a narrator, and I comment directly to the audience throughout the play on the themes and the actions of everybody in the story. And in so doing, as I talk to the audience, I undergo my own progression as a man who has spent his life working for the church, but now, late in life, is beginning to have some troubles with his faith.
Mackenzie, you're one of our youngest almost actors in this play. Tell us a little bit about your character and if there was any challenges that you had. What do you like the most about this play?
There we go. The biggest challenge here was in the first role, Monk Isidore. The hardest part was obviously that I am a female playing a male role, so that was a little difficult with trying to get the mannerisms and trying to not make this character appear too feminine. And in my second role as Mother Anna, the hardest part was the sincerity of the role. They very much contrast each other in the energy they give off, so it was just kind of difficult to go back and forth between those two, but it's been a great time.
And you're doing a great job of that. Demetrius, who is Father Berkey?
Father Berkey is he's an old gentleman. I put his age in the character analysis about 80 years old just to give him that extra touch because Starosta describes him as being like hard of hearing and feeble, so bringing that into the mix of it. And he's definite. He loves his faith, and he's to the point where his faith and his belief in God is what guides him through life, with reading the Gospels every day and fasting, as most people do in the church too as well. And with my challenges bringing him to life on the stage was me being so young, playing such an older person. I kind of had to bring in some of the people that I knew in my life, like my pastor was an older gentleman, not as old, but knowing some of the mannerisms that he does and some of the mannerisms that I see other people do kind of helped me bring that character back to life. And also just like me being so tall, I had to bring my stature down a lot. So having like the humped over shoulder and having a little twitch or something like that, showing that I'm getting older as I age, that was a huge challenge.
Sure. My name is Sivan Touch, and I'm playing the character Matushka Olga, and she is a mother / wife. And one of the interesting things that I've learned from this character is that, or I guess I kind of train myself or prepare myself for this role, was one of the challenges is that I'm not a mother. I'm not a wife. I have a boyfriend and I don't have any children. I have a cat. And so just getting into this character, it really challenged me as an actor. But so this was a challenging role for me, a very dramatic role. And I think I did my best to portray the character. I really got into like what it was like if I were a mother, what if I were a wife. And I did my best to portray that. And I think I hope that people can relate to my character.
Well, as your director, I can tell you, yes, you've done a great job of portraying that. I can't wait till we actually see the whole performance, when we as actors really bring it. Why do you think people should come and see this play?
Well, to see me. No, I'm just kidding. I think we have a great cast. Like everyone is so involved and so passionate, and I think it shows on stage. And it's only $12, and I think it's a good family event to go to. Um, this show would be perfect for all ages, and I think it can be relatable to everyone. And I think it's just a good time, especially around Easter. Our show is on April 13th, 14th, and the 15th. And I think everyone will enjoy it. And it's such a dramatic, I think, play, but then there's some comedic relief that goes along with it. And I find it funny. So hopefully I will be able to keep in character and not make a fool of myself.
Well, that's one of the good things that we talked about in rehearsals. We get a chance to laugh and get it out of our system because Eula, you will be so proud of the cast of how they have brought this play to life.
I believe my character is a bridge between an older time and the way faith in the church in our lives used to be, and a forward look to the way it might be changing into, evolving into. I speak to the audience. I am a voice for the audience, and I am able to then mediate between what they're seeing and what's happening in the story behind me. I think I'm their link, their bridge to what's happening in the story as it reflects, perhaps, on what's happening in their lives.
Mackenzie as Mother Anna. What does Mother Anna? How does she? She only has that one scene in there, but how important is Mother Anna to the journey that this young man, Yefim, must take?
She's so important to his journey in not only that through the whole show, he's heard about all of these possibilities and ways to achieve forgiveness and move on and make his life better. But then without her there, nothing really, not that nothing comes from it, but then you get to see the embodiment of all of these values. And it's just really nice for not only Yifan, but for the audience as well.
Father Demetrius, same question.
I wish I was Father Demetrius.
keep living, you will be.
Close enough. But with Father Verke, I believe, as I said before, just with him being that the rock of the church, he's been the leader of his church for so long, and people having that respect for him. And there's the other side of them understanding that he is getting older, and that we do need more guidance in the church, and that shows through the multiple characters of what they say and how they feel. And then you also get a sense of Father Verke's presence of what he thinks the church should go in the way, because he also people strive for the older generation, but with that being said, a lot of times the older generation, they don't know what to do with their life after that, and all they know is what their work and duty is. And you get to see that presence through his words, because he gives a very powerful speech at the beginning of his scene that allows you to really get into the depth of what he feels that should, not so much should happen in the world, but what he feels that people are giving him less due justice to who he is and to the older generation.
You, as a playwright of seasoned age, how much of what Demetrius just said went into this play when you were writing it? Did it?
Yeah, I think that he's exactly right about that. Exactly right. That is, you see that happen. Uh, you witness that. You may even feel it yourself. And it's something that's real. And I agree with what he just said. The character of Father Averki is holding on to what he's been doing. He's trying to hold on to that, not giving up easily at all. It's not so easy, you know, for the older generation to just give up their reins. They're holding on to that, and I admire that. I'm not quite as old as Father Averki is written to be, but I admire that quality. Hold on and keep going. Yeah, that's. I guess that's my message. Whether people agree with it or not is a different story. But I definitely want that to be my message. It's not. Some people want to keep going, doing what they love to do, um, as long as possible. It's not true for everyone, but for Father Averki, that is exactly the case.
Eddie, you're like me too. We're up there seasoned in there. How much was there any correlation between your character as the Starosta and you?
Well, as we rehearsed the play, and I'm much older than most of my castmates, in the action of the play, I'm older than I suppose everyone except possibly Demetrius, pretending to be much older. And I felt remembering different centuries than the ones that the rest of them do. I hope gave me oh, a more of a sense of what can be lost. Let me tell my young castmates, as you get older, what can be lost and how one must work to find them back again.
That's real good. That's real good. And as you, Mackenzie, being the youngest person, even in the character, really, because I see Monk Isidore as the youngest, the young monk, like you said, just coming in there, just got there, How do you feel about that relationship in there, between the old and the young in this play?
So, especially in my scenes, there's a big difference between the older monk and me. And I think through the way that we do that, through the characterization, it gives more of a drastic differentiation, which is really neat. Not only to see that it's still the same, they're still the same people, but just they might go about stuff slightly different, and it's okay. That they're all there for the same goal. And despite my character's age, I think he realizes that.
Tyler, tell my audience about you in this play.
Sure. So my name is Tyler Herman. Started acting in my kindergarten school play, so I guess it's been on and off for about 30 years now. I'm a lawyer by trade, so I act a little bit in that too. So on and off the stage. In the show, I play Father Priest Monk Gabriel. He's I describe him as one half of the comedic relief in the show. So he's a fun character to play, and he offers the audience some needed levity with some pretty heavy topics.
You're a young man playing a priest who has basically given up everything in life for his faith. Talk to us about, were there any challenges on playing Father Gabriel, and if so, what were they in you coming in this role that has really a dual role to it with the two couple of artists are in this role? Talk to us about that without giving away anything.
Well, challenge number one is growing this big old beard, but other than that, it's been it's again without giving anything away. And sorry if you hear something in the background, my 8-month-old theater fan is here with me. Without giving anything away, Father Gabriel is involved in what I would describe an emotional peak of the show. And so that's been my main focus, is making sure that that particular scene gets the the honesty and the truthfulness that it deserves for the importance that it plays. Like you said, Priest is living a very different life than I do, so it's definitely getting into a different headspace, especially for the role that he plays with the main character as kind of being an early guide in part of the journey that he goes through, and just making sure that I properly set things up and give the feeling needed in my scenes for the direction I'm pushing him along, and some of the warnings I get to offer him too.
Well, I'm glad you mentioned the fact that you grew a beard for this role. All of the men in this play grew a beard for this role, and I must say, you all are looking very handsome. Even if some of your wives are saying and your lady friends are saying, "Will you please hurry up and shave that off?" Are you getting some of that?
I haven't gotten it much, but I do believe one of our castmates, his wife told him the first thing he's doing after the last show is shaving that beard before anything else. So it's definitely, we all make sacrifices.
That's Eddie. And that's, I'm glad you said that word about sacrifice, because that's what this play is a little bit about too, the sacrifices that some people are making in regards to their life and where they want to be. And and the sacrifices that the cast has made to bring this play to life, to give it really what it calls for, to fit with the actual way that Orthodox Christian priests, monks, the way they dress and they wear beards. And so I appreciate your willingness and all of you guys' willingness to grow your beards. Yeah, but you're looking good, guys. You're looking good. Tyler, tell us why. Why do you think the audience members should come see this play?
Well, I think it's always a good thing to support local theater. The arts are hugely important, and whatever you can do to support that in any fashion. But beyond that, there's the you should do it, right, and there's the you should really do it, because this is just a good show written by I think a somewhat local playwright. When you go to local theater and when you go to an original work, you're never totally sure what you're going to get. And sometimes it's something that you do as a sacrifice for the love of the arts. But in this case, if you attend this show, you won't be making a sacrifice. You'll be the one getting something out of it. It's a good show, a great cast, a fantastic script, and an amazing director. And all of those things combined have led to a really nice product. And I think anybody that spends their time and their treasure on this will really enjoy it.
And that's one of our fans in the background. Tell your wife that we say thank her so much for allowing you to be able to participate, because I'm very pleased, and the audience is going to be so very pleased and blessed with your performance, as well as the performance of the rest of the cast.
Yefim is the character who I'm playing. And to describe him, I would say he's someone who, like a lot of us, just wants to make something of himself, but his methods go wrong, unfortunately. And this is a story about how one person comes to grips with how we all try to make ourselves better than what we are, and when it goes wrong, like what we can tend to do, which is sometimes, in the case of Yefim, act a little cowardly.
What, if anything, did you find to be your most challenging thing to do in regards to bringing your theme to life?
I think the most challenging thing with bringing Yefim to life would be making sure that this character is three-dimensional. It would be very easy to play this character like a person who just knows he's a loser and that's the only way that he sees himself. That's the only like lens that he sees the world with is from like his identity as a loser. But adding like a third dimension to it where you can see where that comes from. You can kind of feel that all of that comes from a hoping to be better despite his circumstance.
Tell the audience why you think they should come and see this play.
I think everyone should come see this play to experience a story of redemption. Like what it looks like for someone to make the worst mistake and to still have their own come to Jesus moment, essentially.
What is it that you most want as the playwright for the audience to come away with?
I cannot wait for the audience to see your work, the work of the cast. It's clear to me that everyone has really, really dug deep into their character, and really, I can feel it that this is really coming together tremendously. You know, when you are writing a play, it's all in your head. It's all making sense. You know, but then at the end of the day, when you have it all typed up, it's just words on the paper. You know, and you and your cast, Julie, are bringing it to life. You're bringing it to life. It's going to be a living thing. And I want everybody to see it. I want everybody to see your work, the work of everyone who has worked on this play. And I cannot wait to see it myself.
And
Thank
I just
you.
want, yeah, and I just want to bounce off of Eula. Like, it's such a good play. Like, you're such a good writer. I fell in love with the character. I just fell in love with the story. You make a good point, and then it keeps I think it keeps the audience, engaged. Like, there's no dull moment. Each scene means something. It represents something.
Wonderful. That's so great to hear that. Thank you so much.
Yeah, it's
Thank
a
you.
magnificent piece of work, Yulia, and I pray that we get the audience members to come out because for not only just because it's a play and we're performing this, but what I believe some will take away from it. I believe that some people will walk away understanding that they can be forgiven, understanding that their whole life doesn't have to end because of one thing, and understanding that even if something tragic happens in their life, that there is a way that they can make amends, that they can be forgiven. And I really truly believe, and this my hope, as I am also an ordained minister, as is my hope, is that someone walks out of that audience with a new connection to God. Well, I want to thank you guys for being with me on Let's Talk Theater. And I want to encourage everyone listening to this interview to get your tickets from Stage Rights Theatrics as they present the almost unbearable glistening of the onion domes in the afternoon sun. This play is about an Orthodox Christian church being produced by a person of Jewish faith, directed by me, a conservative Christian, and the cast member are all different faiths. My takeaway that I want to say, the reason why you guys should get your tickets for this, the almost unbearable glistening of the onion domes in the almost, you know what? I'm going to let the actor say that. Eddie, say that. Say that line. Give the audience just a touch.
I say that it would make my heart leap for joy and lift up my spirits. And I really do miss the almost unbearable glistening of the onion domes in the afternoon sun.
That's what this play is about. The things that we have missed, the things that are with us today in our presence, and our hope for the future. That is what it's about. So please, please get your tickets so that you can enjoy this wonderful work written by Yulia Gray and performed by some of the most amazing actors right here in Central Ohio and directed by me. Thank you for joining me, Julie Whitney Scott, your producer and host of Let's Talk Theater, a Mind for God production sponsored event heard only on WGRN LP 94.1. For the full video interview, go to my Julie Whitney Scott Facebook page.